Hello and welcome back to another video here on the channel. The void of FM content still continues whilst we wait for FM 26. It's been a while, but we've got a video here today previewing this next game week of the Premier League coming up now. It is the last game week before the first international break of the season. We're going to be taking a look at, first of all, my FPL team and then the games we've got coming up in this game week. So in terms of what's going on in FPL, it's been a very rough start to say the least. I mean, if you look at this team, it's had its fair few problems. First we picked Frimpong, he got injured. Saka's now injured. Palmer, I captained him last week and he got injured in the warm-up. It just didn't go down well, to be honest, at all. I really thought I could get some differential points. It's not going too well, but I was potentially thinking of wildcarding this week. I've decided not to. I have made my transfer in this team nice and early before the deadline. There's a few issues with this team, really. There's a few picks maybe that didn't go down too well. I tried to be a bit differential with my substitutes as well. As you can see, it's not gone too much to plan, but the team I'm going to go for this week hopefully has the potential to go and do well. They've got some difficult fixtures in there, but I do think we can come away with some points. So the team has stayed largely the same since the first team that I went out with. It's quite different to the first draft, so this is the different version that you'll see now. In terms of the team that we're going with here, it starts with Verbruggen in goal. I feel like he has he's low owned and he has quite a lot of potential, so it makes sense to pick him. We've got Wan-Bissaka in this team. Now you will have heard the story about Wan-Bissaka if you did watch that first draft video. It's not gone down too well. West Ham are just not there at all, but he's not a priority to get out at the moment, and at least he's getting some confirmed points in at 4.5 million. Van de Ven is in there. He's got a good fixture against Bournemouth at home. We've got Van Dijk, who I did a straight swap for Frimpong. I'm not usually a fan of getting someone like him in, a centre-back for a full-back, but it made the most sense. I think the issue with this season is that it's been really void of a template, and I think you really have to go with your own decisions a lot of the time, and so far it's not worked out, but it is only game week 3 at the end of the day, and the catching up is there to be done. We've got Munoz as well in this team, who did get a return last game week, if I'm not mistaken, so hopefully there's another one in there, but a tough game against Villa. We've got Kudus, who is in this team. He did get some returns in the first game week, and he's got Bournemouth as well, which should be a good fixture. We've got Mo Salah in this team, consistent as ever, but the transfer I've made is Jack Grealish I brought in. Now there's quite a few options who I could bring in that position. The big thing is, obviously he's replacing Saka, is that it saves us a lot of money and we can make a big transfer next week, or in 2 game weeks. Watkins could potentially go out. Mattov, if he doesn't return, I'm probably looking more towards Watkins. It's not been the best start for Villa, really, and I think Mateta, obviously with Eze leaving now, there's a lot more potential for him to go and get the points, so I definitely think keeping him makes sense. But 3.5 million sitting in the bank, it's not really good to sit on money like that. But I brought in Grealish. It was between him and Dye and Saar. Now Saar, I'd wanted to bring him in at the start of the season, but I've not gone for him. It was really between Grealish and Dye, and I don't know what it was. I feel like Grealish does have, I don't know, I feel like Dye might have the highest ceiling actually, but Grealish, he's in that team. I think he's he's probably the best player in that team. Like pound for pound, he's got to be the best player. And I think he's less owned as well. And I think more people will look at Ndiaye and instead of Grealish, who got 2 assists in the last game week against a Brighton team. And in a time where I'm trying to gain some points, captain him away at Wolves, really struggling Wolves. If he gets a few points, we could be on for recovering our position. So it's a differential captain. I think a lot of people will go for Salah as the captain, but a lot of people will actually take the captain off him because it's quite a tough fixture and he has the more potential to go in blank. So I'm not too worried there, but we'll have to see. Really, that is a very good game, obviously, but I'm going to go with a differential. Why not? See how it goes. We've got Mateta, Watkins, and then it's Mark Guiu who is in this team. I don't want to take a -4 because we are really struggling. I don't want to wildcard 2 or just yet. I've never wildcarded this early if it was going to happen, but I think we've got to be, don't make any crazy decisions. It's not the worst decision, but it is a bit of a panic decision if it was made. So not just yet. This team can be recovered. We're really just looking at SAKA, who is a bit of a weak player in terms of returns. Watkins, who's not had the best start but still has the potential. It's mainly just Gio. If Gio can get the 2 points, then that's all we can expect out of him, really. We're also holding PALMER, which makes a lot of sense to hold, but he could be a player who goes out, and then potentially in the future we start to look to maybe moving towards Haaland, who, it makes sense to have not had him in the first game week. I didn't go with him in the first game week, but at the same time, it's Haaland. It is Haaland. You've got to bring him into that team. He's guaranteed points, but it worked out better for him in the end. He did get his goals in that first game week, but the second, losing to Tottenham. So that is how the team is looking at the moment. I brought in Twanzebe and Aaron Ramsey. I thought it would work out a bit better. I thought, what's his name, Ray Lindo for Sunderland would be a good shout, but I didn't bring him in. I don't know why. From the first game week, that made so much sense. He played for Atletico Madrid. No idea why I didn't bring him in, but here we are. And Ramsey as well isn't really getting the points, but I don't think anyone is at a threat of not starting or getting points in this team, really. So we're not in the worst position. And if Grealish gets those points, the first time maybe ever a differential captain works out for me, we won't be complaining. Now it's time to look at the games that we do have lined up for this week, as we take a look at the 10 fixtures, starting with the early kickoff, Chelsea versus Fulham. Now Chelsea obviously started off very well in their season. They're coming up against a Fulham side who have had a bit of a mid-campaign thus far, and I think Chelsea will get the win at home. We're looking at a 2-0 win, I believe, in this game for Chelsea. I think, even without PALMER, they've got a very strong side, and I think they will get the result in that one. We've got Manchester United versus Burnley. The less said about Manchester United start, the better. If Anarim loses this, I think he's gone. To say the least. There's no excuses for losing to Burnley at home, but I do see Man United winning, probably scraping a 1-0 win in that game, but I do see them winning, and maybe it's the start of a bit of a recovery period. We've got Sunderland versus Brentford, two teams who've had similar starts. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in this game. It'll be a competitive fixture, and I do think Sunderland will be happy to get a point from Brentford even at home. We've got Tottenham versus Bournemouth. Tottenham made one of the best signings of the summer, undoubtedly. People really not thinking about how good of a signing it is in Xavi Simons. I think that is a very, very good signing for a team like Tottenham. The fact that he went straight there, I think other teams were considering him, but the fact he went there makes it's a very good transfer for Tottenham. We'll have to see how it goes down for the player, but a very good deal, and he comes in. Against his Bournemouth side, I do see Tottenham continuing their perfect start. I think it'll be a 2-1 win. That's the type of result, the vibe that's being given off from that game, but I think they will be the only team after match week 3 to maintain their perfect start. And Thomas Frank doing well for himself over at Tottenham. We've got Wolves versus Everton in that game there. I do believe that it will be an interesting game, but as I said, I think we're going to go with a 2-0 win for Everton. I think the returns for Grealish will hopefully come, and they should be able to capitalise on a very poor, very weak Wolves side at this stage. And it's a shame, really, because Wolves were good quite a few seasons ago, but they're not the same team as they once were. We've got Leeds versus Newcastle. That will be an interesting fixture. Newcastle having the worst start of the two sides, really, but I do think they will be able to come out with the win in the end. A 2-1 win in that game as well, I think will be the result in that, in the tea time kickoff on the Saturday. And then all the games are being played within the 2 days. People are travelling on Monday and they don't want them playing on Friday. I don't know why, but there's no Friday game, but they're all travelling on Monday, so there's no Monday game. We've got Brighton versus City in that the first of the 2 o'clock games on the Sunday. Brighton have had a bit of a shaky start. I think City can come away with this result. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win in that game for Man City, and a few Haaland returns might affect our team a little bit. We've got Forest versus West Ham at home. Forest have to really win this game, take advantage of it. They've had an interesting start, but I do think they can go and get the win. A 1-0 win, I'm saying, at home for Forest there. Then it's the big talk of the weekend, Liverpool versus Arsenal. I'm seeing a 2-2 out of this game, really. What a game it's going to be. The two best sides undoubtedly in the Premier League at the moment. That's going to be a very, very competitive game, but a 2-2 draw is a result that makes the most sense. I think both teams will drop their first points of the season. And yeah, well, the neutral will get a good game at the end of that. And then the final game of the weekend, we've got Villa versus Palace. That'll be a very interesting game to see how that goes down, really. Villa not had the start that they would have wanted, but it's always a competitive fixture, this one, and Palace have had a very good start, as I expected them to, really. They're in a very good position. How this result goes, I don't really know. It's a very, very interesting game. I would like to say Palace can get the win, but Villa are looking very good. You know, they're consistently a good team in their home stadium, I should say, looking very good always. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in that game. I don't think Palace will be able to get all 3 points, but will definitely cause problems for Villa in their stadium. So it looks like a very, very good game week ahead. We've got some very interesting fixtures, particularly those last two of the week going into that international break. Let me know what you think of the team and of the predictions. Make sure to join the Discord, as you can see just above the face cam, where I'll be discussing those fixtures in there. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll leave you with this old tune, and I'll see you all again for another video soon. Thank you, bye bye.